Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers lore. We had a little break there, but now we are back with more lore for you guys and gals out there. This week we're going to be talking about Kevin from Power Rangers Samurai. Now, Kevin first appears in the episodes known as Origins Part 1 and 2, where he joins the Samurai Rangers team to save the world against Nilox. Now, this effectively ends his career as a swimmer, where he wants to become an Olympic swimmer to represent his country in the Olympics, per se. However, it's not mentioned until 2 episodes later, where he mentions to Mia and says, hey, this was my dream. I gave up on this dream to save the world, and he basically sacrifices. Now, unlike the other Rangers, who didn't really have these overall arcing goals like he did, he was forced to do an actual big sacrifice. Now, Jaden sacrificed the rest of his essential life in pretending to be something he wasn't supposed to be, which essentially was the overall Red Ranger leader, when actually it was supposed to be his sister the entire time. Now, that's a big sacrifice in itself, but it's not the same. He had always known that. Kevin didn't know until the drop of a hat, until the Nilox attack, that he was going to have to give this up one day. Now, he was at the very end of his goal, going, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Here comes Nilox, and you know what? He didn't hesitate to do it either. Like, there was some little bit of regret, but he goes, this is what I have to do, and this is what I have to stick with. It's pretty impressive there for a person to just switch over and go, you know what, the world is more important. It's easy to say that, but very few people can actually do that sacrificial moment. Now, he plays a few important roles throughout the series. He is the second command of the Rangers from then on out, but he's also able to get them very different battle plans. One of the major things he did was collect the swordfish Zord. Now, he did this by fishing in I don't know if it was a lake or river or the ocean. I'm hoping it's the ocean because it's a giant Zord and it's a swordfish. So, hey. Now, he did this with a special rod that he basically empowered with his kanji and sent it out flying, and took a little time and pressure as the other Rangers were getting their butts kicked and becoming incapacitated by the stench of a Nilex breath. Now, he was able to reel in the swordfish Zord and combine it with the rest of the Zords to defeat the monster of that week. Now, later on in the episode known as I've Got a Spell on You, Blue, or that's how I said it. I thought I read it wrong, or we're good there. Now, in this episode, he is first battling against Jaden in a mock battle, where everyone comments about Kevin's talent and skill, saying that they believe he's going to beat Jaden. Now, Master G doesn't believe that. They think they're all talking about Jaden, because basically he's his prized pupil, and he apparently can't see over a certain thing. Now, they tend to remark about certain things as time goes on, about basically that, oh, he's going to win because he fights to win. Or Kevin does fight to win, but he doesn't fight to destroy or basically kill at this point. While Jaden does. He fights for that final battle and was willing to make the sacrifice in order to defeat his opponent, while Kevin apparently does not. He thinks it's more of a mock battle rather than taking it for a real vicious battle going on. Now, in the episode, he is mind controlled after Jaden tells everyone to duck and get down as the monster of the week blasts Mike in per se to put him under mind control, but Kevin gets mind controlled instead and goes from there to attack the other Rangers and defeats them pretty bad, except for Jaden. Now, Jaden uses a mind resist ability to block his attack and retreat with the other Rangers of smoke cloud. Now, the monster of the week known as Madop, or Madmot? Yeah. Basically takes him and Taigi away, and while he goes to refresh himself in the Sansa River, prepares for the next part of the battle. Now, he attacks again on a construction site, and the Rangers fight back, but they are really reluctant to fight against, well, their friend. Now, Blue easily defeats Mia, Mike, and Emily once again, and then Jaden goes in to fight against him. Now, the Rangers are going, oh man, they can't do this. And that's when Decker arrives and comments and tells them that Jaden will win because he knows how to fight. They all go, well, so does Kevin, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, whatever. Again, Kevin's fighting a mock battle in his mind, while actually, against real people, he doesn't actually pull the trigger unless it's monsters. Now, It's quickly shown that Jaden's able to block the attack from Blue, uses Mind Resist ability to purge the mind control from Kevin's mind, and turn him back to normal. Now, Decker is immediately pleased by this and goes, I was right, but doesn't say that outright, and goes, Jaden's the opponent I've been looking for, and I'll fight him eventually. Dun dun dun. Now, Kevin would also have different battle plans as it would go on. He was able to think up a different drawing for a new Megazord blueprint while he was injured in another battle against another Nihilok known as Robtish. Terrible name, by the way. When him and Emily are injured, they think of this new battle plan, and when they go back to battle, they shows it as Jaden as a new technique to fight against it, and the samurai combination works, and he's able to defeat the monster of that week. Now, also while going on, he has a hard issue with, well, Mike. Mike is very chaotic, while Kevin is a very orderly person who constantly... Kevin likes the way everything he does. He does everything perfectly mapped out. He has a full schedule. He has everything planned out what he wants to do. He likes a set schedule. Meanwhile, Mike is, well, he's chaotic, hectic, has no plans, very lackadaisical, and he doesn't really have to train. While Kevin trains constantly, Mike goes, well, whatever. I'm here to throw off your edge. Kevin has a certain fighting style. Mike has, well, his own adjusting fight style. He changes as, well, whatever the situation presents to him. So they kind of clash heads several different times. And they kind of understand each other after a little bit when they get stuck together, when a monster of the week of that time basically puts them together and they're forced to do everything together. A little bit interesting there going on. They clash heads, they have a little comic routine, but they are forced to work together in the end, as they quickly realize fighting each other doesn't get them anywhere. Whew. Now, another Ranger that Kevin has a problem with is none other than Scott Truman when he came across into the normal dimension, leaving the RPM dimension, chasing another evil villain of that universe known as Professor Cog. Now, when they first meet up, well, Scott kind of ticks off most of the Rangers by saying, well, you're a little old school. Kevin's quite fed up with Scott and all his complaints and almost cutting off his head during a battle that took place. Now, the rest of the time, Kevin would leave along with the rest of the team and get sucked into the other dimension, while none other than Jaden and Scott are forced to work together after being basically poisoned with a sense of, well, heated debate, I would say. You had to watch the full episode to fully describe what's going on there. But the rest of the team would come back, and Scott tells them they're good, but they're still old school. Now, Kevin's still annoyed by this, but you know what? He goes, whatever, go back to your dimension that's nuclear radiated. Now, as time went on throughout the rest of the series, Kevin and the rest of the team would form a much better group and coerce different times. He would meet with his other crew of swimmers who didn't really understand what he did or why he just disappeared one day, and they would be very upset with him, but he could not tell them that he was a Ranger. Though he could give hints, he could not directly say this to them for obvious reasons. You're not supposed to reveal your identity. And I understand why. You put everyone in jeopardy around you. So, now, throughout the rest of the series, Kevin doesn't really do too much. He does get the black box, and he was originally nominated to basically the one to fix the black box and update their entire systems and the like. However, Antonio, flattered with the confidence, goes, you know, Kevin's the better one. But they couldn't find Kevin because he was out checking with the other, well, his former teammates and watching them compete. Now, Kevin, throughout the rest of the series, doesn't do much beyond that, sadly. For the rest of the story is kind of driven by Jaden and then his big bomb drop that he has a sister who was actually meant to basically lead the Rangers to begin with, and she is the true heir to the Sheba line. Now, it's also revealed, too, with the Decker and Jaden battle. They have a big battle going on there and the like, and they're kind of all passerbyers. Now, when Lauren does show up in the series, the only one who's very, I would have to say, excited to see her would be Mike, because, well, he's very accepting of outsiders because he's an outsider himself. Everyone else is kind of like really off-put by this and kind of just stare at her from afar and don't know how to approach the situation at all. It's beyond the normal things, and so they're just kind of like there the entire time wondering what to do next. Now, this takes a little bit, but eventually do get to work together, and Jaden does come back to help them defeat none other than Master Zedran himself. Now, Kevin would return with the other Samurai Rangers in the army as part of the army of the legendary Rangers to help the Megaforce Rangers defeat the Armada once and for all. Though they never removed their helmets, so you can speculate that maybe the actors weren't actually there. They probably weren't. Now, in the Shattered Grid battle, we know that he and several other Rangers fought against the forces of Lord Draken and were defeated, along with the rest of the Rangers, except for that of Lauren and Jaden and Mentor G. And as of right now, this will be the last time we have seen Kevin as of currently, though Hasbro now has been bringing back Rangers from the past. I'm pretty certain that we'll probably see something more of the Samurai Rangers here soon, and maybe more of Kevin. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with your anything you want to see, whatever Rangers you want me to talk about, villains, Zords, anything like that. Even have the oddity question of what you want to see in the future. Don't be afraid. I'm here to basically listen and or talk about more into things. Now, there's a lot more episodes that we could talk about, as well as different forms, such as his Shogun form, his Super Samurai form, his Super Mega form, and different other things here and there. However, there's just a lot of, I want to go over the top reasons, not every single thing possible that was about Kevin, because, well, we'd be here for days, and there's a lot of it's just monotonous, same stuff over and over again. Thank you guys. Have a good one, and may the power protect you always.